What's going on, everybody? This your boy Town Biz. All right. Richardson Hitchins systematically breaks down, beats down, and he stops George Kambosos Jr. in the eighth round. Vicious body shot. Then to top it off, landed a short shot to the tip of his head, and Kambosos couldn't continue. He did get up, but the referee saw that he was pretty much done, and he saved himself basically the trouble of getting knocked down again. He was hurt with a vicious body shot, like I think around the sixth round. Basically, that set the tone, which told you the inevitable was going to happen. But it was a great performance by, Richardson Hitchins. He guaranteed a stoppage, and he got it. Oh, and by the way, great performance by Andy Cruz as well. Keep in mind, y'all saying y'all want action. All right, be careful what y'all ask for. Which I'm gonna talk about that later on. How basically, you know, um, like a smaller ring is not going to help William Zepeda. And now that these fighters, these defensively challenged, flat-footed, uh, mainly Hispanic fighters, basically are crying about rings and all this kind of stuff. So, based off the fact that they're lacking certain skill sets, they have to be accommodated, which it's not going to help them. But, with that being said, once again, it was a great performance by, Hitchens. So let's see what happens. He retains his 140 title. Now, George Kambosos Jr., um, you know, um, he may have to look at his future, because he's taken a lot of punishment. He was beaten down by Lomachenko, and then he got beaten down by Hitchens. He didn't win one round to me. I think it was a clear domination in favor of Hitchens, and it was a great performance. So the co-main event was solid, where you had basically Cruz doing his thing, and basically he took another shot at Keyshawn Davis. Eventually, Keyshawn Davis is gonna have to go see Andy Cruz because he keep disrespecting him, and he keep dissing him, saying that's his son. So at the end of the day, man, you got to go see him, man. You got to go holler at him, man. You got to get at him. You got to get at him. So but yeah, once again, nothing bad to say about Hitchens' performance. He did his thing. It was a great performance. So you got to give him his props. Now, what's next for him? That remains to be seen. But he definitely should have impressed people by his performance. Now, we expect people to discredit him and say, "Oh, well, they primarily only do that to us. They only do that to fighters that look like us. Anytime we do what we're asked to do, then all of a sudden somebody finds something wrong." Now, you know, people were complaining about, well, we want to see more action. We don't want to see all that running and all that kind of stuff. So I promise you, somebody gonna find something to bitch about, because that's what they do. Anything, like I say, to discredit the brother, that's what they do in boxing. But it was a great performance. He systematically broke Kambosos down. Kambosos had some success every once in a while, landing counters and landing, leads, but they just didn't do anything to hit the Hitchens. He was ready. He was ready for whatever Kambosos brought to him. And, like I said, he didn't fear Kambosos. After the third round, you kind of know where this was going. And I mean, Hitchens' jab was on point, very sharp and snappy jab. And then his body attack was on point as well. I mean, he just was starting to lump Kambosos up. You started to see the effects of, Hitchens punching, and it was taking toll on him. Now, Hitchens doesn't have a lot of knockouts, but then again, sometimes, you start to gain more confidence. You learn new tricks along the way. Hitchens is still relatively young. I don't think he's ever going to become, you know, everybody's not going to become like Marvin Hagler, just bomb, or Thomas Hearns, just bombing guys out with big shots, uh, You're gonna have to systematically break these dudes down. So he got the stoppage, and that's what he said he wanted to do. So now people can shut up, stop complaining about, oh, we want action. Okay, you got action. So give him his props. But I promise you, somebody will find something wrong, and in all likelihood, he's gonna be Hispanic or he's gonna be white. Anything to take away from the performance of these brothers, though. But I'll keep you guys posted. I got Kobe out there. He's covering the fight. He's in New York. So, he's doing this thing. Man, I ain't worried about Tiafimo. Tiafimo is just a dude. The only thing he do is talk, but he don't sign no contracts to fight nobody. He always got an excuse. So, with that being said, um, they from Brooklyn and all that kind of stuff, but still I don't like the idea of him even, make it any type of, what I'm saying, camaraderie with Tiafimo Lopez. Tiafimo is sorry. I'm talking about he is just super sorry. But Kambosos, good performance though. Good performance by Africa. So we'll see what's next for him at 140. There's some fights out there for him. 140 in between 135 to 140 could, I know there are different divisions. I know they're different weight classes and whatnot, but they're pretty interchangeable. It's not that big of a deal from a guy to move up from 135 to 140. So I figure like any fight between 135 and 140 could get made. So there's a lot of fights out there. So let's see what happens. Anyway, it's your boy. I'm out.